Okay, video for the day. Last video of today. I've just noticed. I think they just need a little bit of glue put in underneath them. So the sheeting, the plastic sheeting, is going well. It's about a quarter of the way through. Just pick this up here. You can see here. These are just 20 thou plates cut out of sheet material. I also have some 10 thou plates. They're the correct size for the deck plates. So I've got a good mix there. There's the individual plates that go on this side are a little bit smaller. So I spent a while pre-cutting quite a lot of plates. I've probably got enough plates cut to do probably 2/3 of the hull. I think I've still got to cut a few yet. But I'm somewhere around about a quarter of the way through plating the hull. If I just pick the iPad up there, you can see I think it's going quite well. So this, it looks odd, but like this here, for instance, there's sort of like a doubler and a strengthener here. So I've tried to copy the actual hull plating as accurately as possible. I've got a couple of little buckles there. I'm just going to have to get a bit of glue under those, make sure they're pushed down. It's usually because they're not pushed down enough when they're like that. That's difficult to see there, but I bet you that's flexes. Yeah, it's just not got any glue underneath it. So I'll do that. But you can see the deck plating has gone quite well. It's just difficult to actually see, but that's the point. It's not supposed to show up well. The all needs a good rubbing down yet, but you can see there's more solid plates and the unusual shapes of the plating. It's not all like straightforward rectangles. Some of the shapes are rather odd. This one here, for instance, is unusual but accurately copied. So that progresses. You can see it's progressing. I've not done this side yet. I've done this here. It's all the way around, but I've not put this on this side. That's my next job. Probably by the end of tomorrow, if I'm lucky, the hull will be about half done. The bottom of the hull's a little bit easier to do because it's just plate after plate after plate, rather than having to cut and finesse specific shapes. So by the end of tomorrow, I think the plating will probably be halfway finished. If we're lucky, end of Tuesday, end of Wednesday, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, the plating will be completely finished on the hull, and then we can start looking at doing some interesting construction and such like. Hopefully you can see that there. Just pick it up now. You can see that unusual shape. The plating is going quite well. That'll be covered. That'll blast a load of filler primer over that and then polish it back, and it'll knock it back, and the effect I think is quite pleasing and relatively good for a scale looking effect on an old warship. So very happy with that at the moment. It's coming along nicely. This plating captures, I've got strakes and bilge keel goes here, and there's a strake goes here, and I've got loads of little, I've even started marking them off, loads of water channels and vertical channels run down this that'll hide some of the joints and some of the shapes. So there's still a lot to do on that in terms of detail, but it should end up being pretty good looking hull, I think. And you can see how with this on, and then it fills so that there's no gaps. It becomes watertight on the outside, and then good sloshing of resin means it's watertight on the inside. Not that it'll ever see much water. I might float it once or twice, but I like it to be technically right in case anybody else, if it sells or somebody buys it, then we know it's going to float and it's going to work. So it will be tested for water tightness, and it will have prop shafts and such like put in it, and maybe even motors and sails yet. I'm not decided. Might see what the local model shop's got. Just have a look. It's always good fun sailing a boat. It's a bit of a pain though when they're this big. They can weigh, I reckon this will probably weigh something in the region of 40 pounds, maybe even more than that, due to the amount of ballast required, which is always a bit of a backbreaker when you're trying to take it to the sailing, the pond, as it were. So anyway, there we are, looking good. Still needs lots of sanding and knocking back, but it's coming along very nicely. Quite happy with that. pretty good. And you can see the shapes are starting to appear nicely here at the front, the curves and the straight edges there. Okay, I'll come back to you maybe tomorrow evening when I've done another 25% of the planking.